Hello. Welcome to my podcast show, Talk Time with Tosin, where I talk about issues relating to mental health, healing from trauma, spirituality, and many more. Compliments of the season, people. It's Boxing Day 2024. Merry Christmas in arrears and Happy New Year in advance. I trust you had a beautiful Christmas celebration. This is episode 5, my last episode for the year. If you have not listened to the previous episodes, please go and listen to them. You will be glad you did. It's good to start the gist from the very beginning. It is my desire that all that I share inspires you to keep getting up even after you have been knocked down. We cannot afford to stay on the floor. We need to try our best to keep getting up and keep going. Someone once said the power of a decision is far greater than the power of the damage. It's so profound. Therefore, I will keep encouraging everyone the way I encourage myself to always decide to keep getting up. In this episode, I'll be talking about 2 interesting experiences I had with 2 abusers who tried to play funny games. And as usual, I will also share some things that a sexual abuse survivor might find useful. So let's get to it. The first experience was another encounter I had with Malam. When I was about 16 years old, he wanted to have me again. You remember Malam, right, from episode 1? If you have not listened to episode 1 again, go listen to it so you will know Malam. Alright, it takes a lot of restraint to avoid using an insulting word to describe this man whenever I remember the situation. The man walked into the apartment we lived in at the time, which was quite close to the school I attended. That place where it all began. And he tried to get a little friendly, I was the only one at home. My mom was at work at that time. And, my siblings weren't around. It was just me in the house. He asked for a cup of water. I gave him one, very chilled one. And then he started spewing the rubbish he had to say. He asked if I could come to his house around 9 p.m. at night. I was stunned, but calm. I was wondering, what rubbish? A part of me wanted to go to my mother's kitchen. There is this wooden kitchen tool we call the pestle in Africa, spelled Pestle. We use it together with a mortar, mortar, to pound yam and other stuff. I felt like taking it and just throwing it at his legs. I felt like breaking those legs he used to walk into the house with the audacity to say the rubbish. I felt that would be a very good payback for him. I stayed calm anyway, told him okay with a very cold expression, and he left. For a while, I was even a little angry with myself for being that calm. I felt like I should have inflicted some pain on him. Looking back at it now, it's good I didn't act with anger. Aside from the anger, I was also stunned. Like I said earlier, I could not believe my ears. I was also avoiding any form of trouble. It was my teenage years. I had a lot of crises here and there at home already, which I explained in previous episodes. I didn't want anyone to know that I had experienced abuse already. The second experience, which is the craziest of the 2 experiences, was with the Reverend. Yes, the Reverend again. About 2 to 4 years ago, he started reaching out to me to say he wanted to pray for me concerning marriage. Guys, the forgiveness quota I had in me, which was gradually, getting to maybe like 96%, dropped to minus 0.00000000000%. I was beyond pissed. I had to start the forgiveness process over again. I didn't pick his call when he called me, but he left me messages to spew the nonsense. Alright, he even added scriptures for me to pray with. I was like, someone had sexual intercourse with a minor, then still had the audacity to approach her in her adult years under the guise of prayer. I was like, how dare you? I went to God to report him That's what I do when someone causes me pain. It helps me deal with bitterness and its family members. This time I prayed a prayer of judgment for him. I didn't pray a prayer of mercy again. He's in God's hands now, and whatever God does to him is not my business. He tried reaching out twice again or so via phone call, which I was very ready for. But fortunately for him, I was at work on both occasions. I said fortunately because I had planned to have a conversation with him the next time he called, remind him of all he did, and then ask him if he had the right to do what he was trying to do. But a workplace is not the appropriate place to discuss such a thing, and I didn't want any of my colleagues in my business. I see this kind of thing as emotional blackmail and manipulation of the highest order. He even had the guts to report me to someone that I was not speaking his calls. What transpired after that, I don't want to mention here. It took the grace of God to not resent the person because the person tried speaking in his favor and all of that. There were attempts to blackmail me with a forgiveness message. I heard words like, you don't want to pick his calls because you have not forgiven him. Even when my brother wanted to confront him, we were told, the Bible said we should not touch the Lord's anointed. Oh, guys, my head wanted to blow up at some point. I had to put my foot down and tell the person that, I had forgiven the reverend, even though I would have to do that afresh and continuously. But manipulation will not be tolerated. If he does not admit his sin, it is between him and God. I'm not even interested in confronting him anymore, unless he tries something funny again in the future. He and other abusers have been handed over to God. He will handle them the way he wants to. And for those people who might think, what if God has forgiven them? Well, it's a good thing. Everyone needs forgiveness. I can't determine to God who he should and should not forgive. But I also know that God will not smile at manipulative behavior just because they have been forgiven. He cares about the person who has been hurt too. And Christians, we should all care too. In the course of sharing my story, I have encountered sexual abuse or rape apologists who are Christians. And it's a shame, I just shake my head for them. This set of people seem to have forgotten that the God they claim to serve is also a God of justice. I have been a born-again Christian for some years now, and I know that God still does not joke with sin. There is a day called Judgment Day, people, and that day will be something else. Let's move forward to the lesson for today. Today's lesson is directed at sexual abuse survivors, still about forgiveness. I'm going to repeat some things again in this episode. Please indulge me. To your forgiveness, please add wisdom and firmness. Some people will never say sorry for what they do. Some abusers will never apologize. Even when you confront them, they will deny it. You need to accept and live with that. Unless they are caught in the act, red-handed, and maybe dragged to courts, and so on, they will still want to act normal around you. If you do not have the courage to speak up yet, it's fine. That's what happens to most of us. If you are still a teenager and paranoid about what has happened to you and your abuser is still hovering around you, you need to seek help. You can search for NGOs like the Real Woman Foundation, Cece Yara Foundation, I hope I got it correctly, CECEYARA Foundation. I'm mentioning them again in this episode, and so on and so forth. You can reach out to them so they can help you deal with the abuser. Don't allow any form of emotional blackmail or manipulation. I know you're afraid, but you need to put an end to what's happening to you. If you're an adult already, you can confide in maybe any family member who you feel is matured enough to handle your story. You can speak to a therapist, and then you can also confront the abuser if you want to. If you do not want to do that, it's fine. Be firm and do not tolerate more disrespect from the abuser. Keep on forgiving. Do not focus on revenge. I believe revenge is a waste of time and resources. I believe that you can even damage yourself more when you decide to, take revenge. Forgiveness is very hard, but at the end of the day, it will pay you. Secondly, work on your self-esteem. Abuse damages a person's self-esteem in a very terrible way that I cannot even describe. You need to see yourself as someone who is worthy of good things. You do not deserve abuse, manipulation, or blackmail. When your self-esteem is down, it is easy for people to manipulate you. Start by writing out affirmations from the scriptures. Google will help with this. You can just Google affirmations from the scriptures or something. You can also search for affirmations on YouTube. Affirmations by Lois Hay is a good example. I'm still working on my self-esteem. I still work on it every day. It is helping me stand strong. I have come to realize that you cannot heal fully if your self-esteem is down. You are beautiful just the way you are. You are strong, you are powerful, you are healthy, and you have a beautiful future ahead of you despite all that has happened. Say these things to yourself over and over again and believe them. Lastly, hold on to hope. The pain of sexual abuse is so great that sometimes you wonder if you will ever recover from it. You will surely recover. Again, I recommend God, the giver of sanity and peace. He gives peace that passes all understanding. When people tell me that I do not look like what I went through, I look at them like, if only you knew what was going on within, or what is still going on within. It is the peace and sanity that comes from God that has been helping me. I hold on to hope daily. The scripture I will leave with you can be found in the book of Revelations chapter 21 verse 4. The Passion Translation, it says, He will wipe away every tear from their eyes and eliminate death entirely. No one will mourn or weep any longer. The pain of wounds will no longer exist. I'll read that part again. The pain of wounds will no longer exist, for the old order has ceased. So guys, God is right there. He's right there even when you cannot see him, even when you cannot feel him. He's right there to wipe every tear away. Just go to him. You will be fine. Thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you learned something meaningful. This is Talk Time with Tosin, episode 5. This is the last episode for the year 2024. This podcast will be going on a short break to resume again on the 16th of January 2025. Please feel free to share these episodes and the previous ones with anyone you think it might help. And of course, support me with a like, a follow, or a subscribe to my YouTube channel at Oluwatosin Awoni Live. I cannot end the last episode for the year without giving a special shout out to my friends who have supported me since I started this. Even when I didn't want to do any podcast again, these guys, supported me, they cheered me on. So special shout out to Temi, Olaniyo, Fisayo, Kiton, Shola, Ejiro, and so on. Ejiro is my dear friend who is also a therapist, and she's the one who reads my scripts after I'm done writing it. Thank you all so much, people. I love you, love you, love you all. If I forgot to mention your name, I still love you all, please. No hard feelings. This is for someone like me. Did you experience sexual abuse? Are you struggling to heal? Do you need to talk to someone? You can send an email to healhearthaven@gmail.com. Connect with me and let us strengthen ourselves as we heal together. If you need recommendations for affordable therapy options, you can also reach out via email. I'll be glad to make some recommendations. Once again, my name is Tosin, and I'm here to always tell you that no matter what you have been through in life, you can heal, you can overcome, and you can thrive. Bye for now, and see you in 2025.